Hot Show, live from New York. It's the show that's reminding you there's no such thing as losing. There's just steps to success. He was right all along. Oh, Dame. We start with huge news out of Portland and Milwaukee. Damian Lillard is joining Giannis and headed to the Bucks. Woj tweeting, Lillard goes to Milwaukee as part of a 3-team deal. Jrue Holiday, Deandre Ayton going in a first-round pick. Swap pick rights 28 and 30 to the Blazers. Phoenix lands Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson. Nick, your immediate reaction.
Now, this is championship or bust for the Milwaukee Bucks. This is, I understand Giannis talked about there's not losses, there's just lessons. Well, no, you now have, I would argue, not only, I still believe Giannis is the best player in the world. Jokic fairly claimed the title.
Sure.
If I were to take a polygraph and be asked the question, I would say Giannis. But at worst, the second best player in the world, and maybe the perfect complementary piece to him. I'm not saying Dame is the third best player, but if you look at the 15 best players in basketball, who are the ones that fit best with Giannis, where Giannis covers up their deficiencies, whatever they might be, and they cover up Giannis's deficiencies, that adds the best floor. I guess you know what, Steph is actually the best pairing next to with Giannis. But
see that. Right.
But take that out. Realistic. Right. You're going to have amazing spacing, which Giannis feasts on. Dame's biggest weakness is defense. Giannis has fair claim that at various points in his career, he has been the best defensive player in basketball. And Brou, as a basketball fan, gosh darn it, this is exciting. Because if we just put, for the time being, Milwaukee in the finals, we now then get either Giannis against Jokic, both with excellent number twos. Yep. It wouldn't feel like a stacked deck in either side. Giannis against, if the Lakers were to get there, Giannis against LeBron, Anthony Davis. That would be unbelievable theater.
It would be.
If Phoenix gets there, not only do you get Giannis's big three against the Phoenix big four now, I guess, is what they're a big three of their own, but Phoenix helped this happen. Because the best piece Portland got back came from Phoenix. Phoenix helped facilitate this trade. Or Milwaukee against your team, the Golden State Warriors, we get Dame versus Steph with the tables turned. Ooh. Where all of a sudden Dame is the one with the overwhelming supporting cast, and Steph is the one like, how is this fair? Like, what am I supposed to do? No matter what, we have an unbelievable championship round, and that should be, Brou, and I think you agree, the baseline expectation is that Milwaukee is playing in the final game of the year and that Milwaukee is winning that game.
Well, first of all, it was championship or bust for the Bucks anyway.
Sure.
Right? Even if they had not made this trade, even if Damian Lillard had gone to Miami, it was championship or bust because you do have one of the two best players in the world who has put you on notice that, hey, I'm about winning championships, and it's not automatic that I'm re-signing with you and staying here for the next 5, 6, 7 years. So it was championship or bust already. They also already won a title. So once you do that and you keep the same crew, it's championship or bust every year. But look, they're the favorites, not only in the East, they're the favorites in the league. They are the favorites in the league. Yes, I said it. Giannis, as you said, either the first or second best player in the league. I got to give it to Jokic right now.
Sure.
But Dame, this is what Dame has been waiting for. And Dame, look, I wouldn't have had a problem if they had sent him to Miami. But props to the Milwaukee Bucks for having the courage. Now, maybe they've talked to his agent, Aaron Gordon, and cleared it, made sure he's good with it. But props to them for not being scared off to say, oh, he only wants to go to Miami. Will he come? Dame is professional. I'm sure he'll show up, and I think he'll be fine. Props to Portland for not being forced to trade him to Miami, to a situation you didn't think. You can debate whether or not you like their package from the Heat, but Portland did not let a player push them around and make them do something they didn't want to do. And I'm telling Dame, This is awesome for you.
There you go.
This is better than going to Miami. I get it. The weather's not better, but everything else is better. Now, unless he just wanted to be the absolute best player on the team,
well, that's the
you're
question.
not the best. But Dame has a chance. Some people think Dame's the best player in Portland Trailblazers history.
They're wrong.
I would go with Clyde Drexler.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Drexler went elsewhere and won a championship in Houston, and now he is not only remembered as, Drexler was a great player. He's remembered as a great player who also was a winner. Dame will now go from being remembered as a George Gervin, who, great individual player, to like a Scottie Pippen if they win a ring. Great player that we always remember as part of a great team.
Go ahead, Wildes.
I don't have off the top of my head how old Clyde Drexler was. I don't remember prime Drexler, and I know.
With Houston
was that
his
prime Drexler?
So
I would say
it was what's the best
similar
comp?
to this.
Yeah, well, except Dame might be coming off the best season of his career, aside from the 32 a game.
Wise, but,
I would say he was 85% of his age.
Okay,
he was 2.5 years removed from being the best player on a finalist when he went to Houston.
Mm-hmm. I think he was still
he was still excellent.
Great.
He was excellent, but I do think that I wouldn't be angry if Dame wanted to go to Miami, set the weather aside, set the lifestyle things aside. If Dame felt like, hold on, Miami was in the finals. If they had, without Tyler Hero, they would be trading Tyler Hero and picks and young players for me. That team absolutely can win the title. We all agree that if Miami had made the trade we've talked about, Jovic, Hero, picks, filler, that team could win the title. And I'm not saying they would have been your pick. Right. They could do it. I wouldn't begrudge Dame if his preference was, I want a chance to win a title as the best guy. And that is not the case in Milwaukee. No. There is no there now. There is a scenario where in any given series, maybe in the NBA Finals, he is the best. He wins a Finals MVP. He could be, but nobody would look at this Milwaukee Bucks and say Dame's the best player on that team. So I do understand where if he was trying to thread the needle of amazing city, history of winning, great coach, real championship aspirations, incredible championship chances, and I get to be the best guy. I think everybody would want that scenario. So I don't blame him for wanting it, but I agree with you. This is not as if the news came down, if it said right there, Blazers trading Dame to the Raptors, I think Dame would have a fair gripe. Yeah. A very fair gripe.
There's no fair gripe.
I know you. That's what the money's for, Don Draper.
Right. I mean, seriously, they've paid you how many? $400 million or something like that? $300 to $400 million? It turns out this is great for him. He has a great chance to win a championship. But no, if they had moved him to Toronto, I don't think he might have been upset. But Portland can do what they want.
Do you think Milwaukee does this if Giannis doesn't say all the things he said the last 6 weeks? Where Giannis started openly flirting with the idea of leaving eventually. By the way, this does not guarantee Giannis stays for the rest of his career. They could win a title.
I think it guarantees it for the next few years.
Well, he was already definitely going to be there the next 2 years.
Had he said after this season, I want out,
I'm going to
leave.
Would have moved. So but if Giannis doesn't start talking about is everyone as committed as me, which was a weird kind of shot at some teammates, I'm not sure who. And if he wasn't talking about potentially moving on, I don't know. This is I don't want to say it's a risky move for the Blazers, for Milwaukee, because I think it has so much upside. It is an expensive move. Jrue Holiday's contract is up in 2 years. Damian Lillard in 2 years has $120 million left on his contract. So this is an expensive move that I do wonder if Giannis, pushed them with his public comments, which I got no problem with.
Yeah, I thought it was smart. All right, let's look at the Miami side of this.
Like the Bucks for tampering.
Jimmy is I don't think he's serious. I think Jimmy is quite a character.
Right.
Well,
I think he's pretty disappointed.
Hold on, did you see Chris Haynes? Hold on. As far as the Bucks for tampering, I'm not saying they were tampering because players are allowed to talk to players.
Yeah.
Chris Haynes did tweet this 40 minutes ago. Dame and Giannis in recent years flirted with the idea of playing with one another, but the holdup was each star wanted the other to join their team. Milwaukee landed on Antetokounmpo's desired mate. So maybe what Jimmy's referring to is that Giannis has been putting the soft recruitment on Dame for some time. Yep. But go ahead. Sorry, Wildes.
So were you surprised that Pat Riley couldn't pull this off?
No, I mean, obviously, like everybody else, thought he was going to end up in Miami. I was talking to somebody today that said Toronto's going to get him.
Really?
You know, yeah. I mean, Toronto thought they may have had him, and they were willing to do it. And I think Miami, because there were the reports out there that they weren't willing to give up the farm, so to speak. And that didn't include, of course it didn't include Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, but they weren't willing to give up a lot of other pieces. I'm not sure they were willing to give up Jovic. And I'm not saying, we'll see what he becomes, but there's talk that it was just Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, and picks and things like that. So the reports that they felt like, look, we can win the East as we are. If we can get Dame for some of our spare parts, we'll do it. If not, we're fine. I think that type of thinking was thinking, okay, if Dame is up in Toronto, we good. We still can win the East. They didn't factor in Dame going to a team like Milwaukee or maybe Boston. And I think had they thought he might go to one of those two teams, they might have had a different attitude. They are not, look, Milwaukee should be the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. I'm not saying there's not going to be, Boston's still great. Miami is still gritty. You got to deal with them. But the team, Philly is whatever. The team to beat is the Milwaukee Bucks.
There's no question about that. And by the way, Vegas has less respect right now for Miami than you. I just checked. Right now, the Heat odds to win the title are worse than the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're 30-1. So Vegas thinks Miami had their opportunity and blew it. I think right now, I am a little surprised that this is the trade because I don't love the return for Portland. Yeah. But that's more. Now, they did get off Nurkic, which they wanted to do. But I believe, and Woj reported they are going to want to flip Jrue to a contender for, pieces and picks. That really feels like the Lakers are going to be on the phone with them shortly in a Rui, D'Angelo and a pick thing.
Rui's the Joker.
That one didn't work out as it happened. But also I think that, those trades would have to wait because those guys signed new deals. That couldn't happen until December. I don't love the return for Phoenix, but I'm sorry, for Portland. But I think yes, Miami's the most disappointed right now. But aren't the next two most disappointed teams Philly and Boston? That are now, Philly has got to be thinking, all right, now how does this land on Joel Embiid's desk?
Not great.
Right? If Joel is like, okay, Giannis's team, he already won a title. And the team is already still retooling around it because they've gone 2 years without winning a title. I have not made it to a conference finals. I had Ben Simmons demand out, now Harden demand out. They haven't traded him. So I think Philly is right now working the phones because there's a greater level of urgency in the...
to move Harden.
Yes.
Are they getting a superstar back?
To move Harden. I don't know what they're going to get. I'm just saying and then I think Boston's got to feel like, gosh darn it.
We got Porzingis.
We've been right there banging on the door, and now Milwaukee is, like you said, Brou, clearly the favorite in the East.
Yeah, and look, I think Boston can rightly feel like, look, we got a shot. They're not afraid of Giannis. They are not afraid of Giannis. They've beaten Giannis in the playoffs. Now, obviously, you add something with Dame, but we got our two young superstars. Let's go at it. Now I think Milwaukee is the favorite, but still, if I'm Boston, yes, this makes the Bucks much better. We got to deal with them, but I'm not afraid. If they were afraid, they should have went out and traded Jaylen Brown for Damian Lillard.
But once they signed on the Supermax, they can't.
Well, no, I'm saying before. Yeah, they had the opportunity to at least offer that.
Sure.
All right, and so, no, look, Miami, here was another error in their thinking. Even if you give them, okay, they could have won the East. They weren't going to win the finals. They weren't going to win the finals. No.
Oh, you're saying, I got you.
Like they're saying, without Dame, we think we can win the East.
No.
Okay, you got beaten 5 games by Denver. Phoenix, whoever came out of the West
some great
would be
got beat in 4
favored
games by Denver.
over the Miami
Denver
Heat.
was really good last year, guys. You don't know they're going to be the exact same.
Quickly, let's move to the Suns because they're a part of this trade. So are you surprised that the Suns facilitated this move and made the Bucks so strong?
So initially I was shocked that the Suns, who are trying to win a title, would help one team become the clear title favorites.
Yeah.
That was my immediate reaction. But now that I look, Nurkic, Nasir Little, the NBA's Mac Jones, also known as Grayson Allen.
A lot of tripping.
And Keon Johnson. I understand why Phoenix did it, which is, in my opinion, Phoenix, as it was constituted, didn't really have a shot of getting out of the West because they didn't have the same issues I thought they had last year. Yeah. The depth, the lack of defense, all of that was still going to rear its head.
So you got Nurkic?
Nurkic will help them defensively. He's a better defender than DeAndre Ayton if he's healthy.
He's not the rim protector, but he's a bigger body.
Yeah, and
I think he would love to go. I mean, again, obviously he's overmatched, but he'd love to go up against Jokic.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah, well, they were.
Nobody's stopping him.
Also, they were teammates.
Yeah,
and then they traded Nurkic away. But they got depth there. So you traded a player that you were at some point going to have to trade in DeAndre Ayton. That seemed like you'd been trying to trade him for a couple years. Mm-hmm. Now, if they do make the finals, and then Dame lights them on fire wearing a Bucks uniform, they're probably going to be like, damn, we probably shouldn't have helped this happen. But I think that might have, I know that's what I said right when I heard the trade, but the more I thought about it, I don't think the Suns are good enough to be making moves based on who do we want to play in the finals. I think they've got to be making moves based on how are we going to be able to win multiple rounds in the West, and I think this might have helped them do that.
They don't have to worry about anybody outscoring them. They got enough scoring. They needed to get, obviously Ayton had a bad attitude in their mind, so you got rid of the bad attitude in your locker room. You bring in Nurkic, who will accept his role, is good defensively, and as you mentioned, like Grayson Allen, like defenders, three-point shooters, and they added to their depth. So yeah, they certainly made Milwaukee better, but again, if I've got Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, I should not be afraid of anybody. And I think those guys are ballers, and they're like, look, bring it on. They think they're playing positionless basketball. They don't have a point guard, but they think that Booker and Beal will be able to handle the ball and get the team into this offense. So it's interesting, but I think they'll be fine.
Let's look at Dame's numbers. I don't know if the statistic is, career statistics.
This is last year.
No, last year. Ranks in 11 career seasons. Got you. I mean, as I said, it was solid. So here's the question. We were at a lot of enthusiasm when this news broke. We were upstairs. I've also been burned by the, you know what? I'm going to rephrase that. Brou, you've been burned.
Yeah.
By the superstars coming together. It's going to work. Of course.
Very different.
Two superstars. It's definitely going to work. I know one is tall and one is not tall.
No. It's been
think burned is strong.
No. But you've been burned.
Well,
we just
the Clippers, the Nets, the Suns last year.
Well,
you just keep getting burned.
Can you guarantee this is going to work?
I was burned by the Clippers the year they gave up the lead to Denver, right? 3-1?
Yeah.
Okay, that was burned.
Okay.
After that, I don't think I was burned with the Nets.
Okay, we can't.
They were injured
right now.
And then Kyrie didn't play because of the vaccination.
I mean, the Nets
it was off the court stuff.
They didn't have enough time.
But I was burned on the court by the Clippers that one year, no doubt about it. Dame and Giannis, yes, because as Nick said, they're a perfect fit.
And
all right, you saw against Miami. I mean, Giannis was running from the ball at the end, and you saw how it ended with Grayson Allen taking some crazy shot. Dame is a closer. He loves the big moment. He can get his own shot. His range is ridiculous, and you got a secondary closer now in Chris Middleton.
Correct.
And you have the size of Giannis, who can swarm and keep you great defensively. Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis. I mean, they're still one of the bigger teams in the league. I love it, and I think the key to having big threes or even a big two is that they complement each other. And these two do.
And the other difference is the Clippers and the Nets, which are the two examples of these alleged super teams that never even made with their guys together a round three, much less a title or won a title, or a finals or won a title, was those teams were created out of whole cloth. It was Kawhi and Paul George came there. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, after never played before, came there. Then they had James Harden. This is the Milwaukee Bucks swapping out Jrue Holiday for Damian Lillard. That's what it is. We have seen that type. We have seen, I know the Warriors were already excellent, but when you swap out Harrison Barnes for Kevin Durant, you become even better.
Right.
The Lakers were kind of a combination of the two because they swapped out a lot of pieces for Anthony Davis, but LeBron and the team was there. So the create a super team out of whole cloth has only ever worked when LeBron's been apex. LeBron is at the center of it. Everything else has been, I guess you could say, the Celtics in 08. But that was enough. That was another one. That was probably the first one.
This is two stars.
Yeah, I don't look at this as a super team.
Just because no one gives Chris Middleton his respect.
No, he's not a no. Is he a superstar? He's a superstar.
He's a superstar.
I mean, look, in today's parlance, they'll be called a big three. We call everything a big three.
Yeah, the Lakers got one.
You said Austin Reeves the third player in the big three. My goodness.
Brew, the Lakers team that won the title, that was not a super team.
They didn't have three superstars.
No, and this is not a super team. But you can win the title like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Denver wasn't a super team this year.
No.
So build a team. Great move, Milwaukee. And Dame, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. He's got to be happy. He's got to be happy. This is great for you. It's about winning, big dog.
Do you think it's going to be in lyrical form or just emoji, or do you think? What do you think?
I don't know. Maybe he'll drop a new song on it. I don't know. And I'm not being a smartass. Dame's a great rapper. I don't know how he's going to respond.
He got to be happy, man.
He's going to be thrilled.
First of all, he's a professional, so I know he'll go there and be sharp.
Can I just tell you something? You guys are saying he has to be happy.
Why wouldn't he?
If I was very convinced for the last 6 months that I'm about to pick up my family and move to Miami, and they're like, slight change of plans, you're moving to Milwaukee, there might be a moment where I'm not that happy. There might be.
You've got July, August, and September to.
Well, it's already September.
You're playing with Giannis.
Wherever you want to.
Okay. Wildes, I consider you the Giannis of sports television.
Hello.
I don't want to move to.
I consider you more like a Brooke Lopez, but still, Brooke can hoop.
Wow.
Brooke can hoop.
Why did you do that?
Okay, I didn't hear that one.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.